I think I will talk about flaws of reasoning, and I will specifically talk about 3 flaws of reasoning. When we argue with someone or there is a debate, we usually think that it's a personal attack or it's a shouting match, and we confuse it with a fight, where on the contrary, a debate should be a logical and a reasonable conversation. And hence, we should be very aware of these 3 flaws of reasoning. Whether we are talking in our personal affairs or we are arguing in our professional capacity or on a public platform, we should not make these logical fallacies, and if someone else is making them, we should also gently point it out to him or her that this is an illogical argument, and you should back your argument with sound and valid reasoning. Now, the first flaw of reasoning is what we call ad hominem. Now, ad hominem is a Latin word, and it seems very complex, but it basically means attacking the person, and hence it's self-explanatory. So what we tend to do is that when we are faced with an argument or a point of view, instead of countering that point of view or countering that debate, we attack the person. And when that happens, this reduces into a mudslinging or a slandering exercise, and it kills the essence of logic, it kills the essence of debate. So first of all, we must stop ourselves from going into an ad hominem debate, and if it is happening to us, we should stop and say the topic that we are debating or arguing about is about, let's say, politics, or let's say sports, etc., and it should not become a personal insult. The second is the dilemma of dichotomy, or the dilemma, or what we call a false dilemma. Now, usually, because we want to simplify an argument, we will reduce it into only 2 positions. Classic example is the statement, either you are with us or against us, or if you don't like Nusrat Fateh Ali's Qawwalis, you don't like music at all. So what you're doing is that you're saying there is no other position apart from these 2. Now, in more complex and should I say comprehensive issues, you could have many positions, and people can take those positions. So one should not fall into this problem and should avoid false dilemma as proposing those options to someone else or for your own self as well. You should not take very extreme positions until and unless you're convinced of those positions. And finally, the third problem is what we call a red herring problem. Now, a red herring refers to a salted fish, and in olden times it has a very strong smell. So in olden times, hunters used to distract their hunting dogs with this salted fish. So the dogs were on a scent of a fox or a rabbit, and they used to carry these red herrings and distract the dogs while training them. And red herring means that while discussing an important topic, you throw in an issue or you throw in a subject which seems related, but it also creates a lot of distraction and it creates a lot of confusion. For instance, when we talk about conflicts like Kashmir, for instance, the ban on artists and film productions on both sides is seemingly related, but what happens is that it dissuades from the actual conflict of Kashmir. Yes, it might in itself be an important topic, but it is distracting the actual debate from the conflict to ban on artists. So as people who are trying to engage in fruitful, in a beneficial and effective debate, we should try to avoid these 3 mistakes, and we should also try and explain to the other person that these 3 mistakes derail a debate and it just becomes a verbal match or a shouting match.